Welcome to our KW Talent Expert Interview Series, where each month we are going to do a live broadcast where we interview somebody about a specialty in working with our teams. Today, we are joined by Caroline Huo with KW Luxury and Mega Agent on what is a five-star experience with our team members, because we know when we talk about five-star experiences with our clients, and yet we tend to forget that if we're going to do something like that, it often starts behind the scenes with our own teams. So Caroline, introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about you, and we'll get moving.
Hi, everyone. I am so excited to be here today with all of you. And I just have to say, I know you and Angela provide five-star experience. I'm a member of KW Talent and my team is too. So thank you for all the value you provide to all of us. We're learning from you. My name is Caroline Huo. I lead the Caroline K. Huo group here in the San Francisco Bay Area. I've been in the business for 20 years. Can't believe it. And then last January, I was tapped on the shoulder to co-lead the luxury community with Brady Sandal, the Brady Sandal. I always sort of say the Brady Sandal.
The Brady, who
The
was
Brady
here
Sandal.
with us today and got pulled away last minute.
He did. He did. Duty called, and he wanted me to offer his sincere apologies for not being here. He's happy to join you another time.
Well, we look forward to one day when Brady will grace us with his presence, and we'll interview him as well. So Caroline, tell us about this. Like, what do you define as five-star service, right? So if that's the premise of our entire conversation today is creating a five-star experience, what does that actually mean to you? How would you define it?
This is what I told Gary. So he asked me the same question. And I said, well, imagine you're going into a hotel. So you go into a one-star hotel and you go to the front desk and you say, excuse me, where's the elevator? That one-star hotel, that attendant is probably going to be on their phone, not even make eye contact, just go down the hall, right? If you go to a
I've
three-star
been to
hotel,
that hotel.
have you been? I have
I have
too.
been to that hotel.
And then if you go to a three-star hotel, they might actually look up from their phones, make eye contact and say, well, it's down the hall to the left. When you go to a five-star hotel, they look up, they're not even on their phones. They look up, they come around the corner and they say, it's a pleasure for me to lead you there. They take you down the hall, they turn left with you, they press the button for you so you don't have to. You walk in, and as you're waiting for the elevator, they're talking with you, inquiring about you. And as the door closes, they're saying, welcome back and have a wonderful day. So that's the difference between 1 and 5. And a five-star experience is when people we are caring for feel seen, heard, special, and appreciated that they're there. It is anticipating and providing what they need before they even need it. It is going that extra mile when things are not going right and how to recover beyond expectations. It is creating a personal experience and a feeling that they can't wait to tell their friends about. From remembering someone's name, as simple as remembering someone's name, to their dog's name, from taking genuine interest in them, and they feel it, that's a five-star experience.
Everyone here is going to look at that and think, I've been to those hotels. I've had experiences like this, right?
Right.
Where it just blows you away. And while we would love every experience and every interaction to be five stars, I mean, that doesn't even happen at the Ritz-Carlton. Yet we
That's right.
strive for that type of an event, that type of an activity. You're KW Luxury, obviously, and you run a luxury brand sales team, right? You guys deal in high-end price points, and that is part of who you are and what you do. Yet we look at this and we think, well, five-star experience doesn't necessarily have to mean expensive and luxury, right? You talked about an experience. I could walk into a Hampton Inn and have that same experience. Somebody could treat me that way. Or I could walk into the Ritz-Carlton and have a bad experience where they may have an employee that does not necessarily deliver the same service to me. So let's talk about, does five-star mean and always have to be expensive and luxury and exclusive to that type of a price point or that
Absolutely.
type of sales business?
Absolutely not. One time I was talking with somebody about a five-star experience, and they said their AAA driver delivered a five-star experience. So at KW Luxury, we get asked all the time, what is luxury? And what we want to say is that luxury is the experience you offer. It's not the price point. On our team, we're saying we're price blind. whether it's a $500,000 condo or an estate and everything in between in our area, everybody deserves that luxury experience, right? That feeling that they're seen, heard, and cared for and appreciated. And that goes down to our team members as well, right? So it need not be expensive. It just needs to be meaningful. Like I was saying, just remembering somebody's name, remembering their favorite beverage, being there on time or even early, so that they don't have to say, oh, where am I parking? So you're there to direct them where to park. Those are luxurious things that we can provide for our clients. And the most important thing is you want them to feel, they want you to say, show me that you know me, right? Show me that you care. Show me that you've paid attention. And it may not be the principal, maybe the people around them as well. So we had a family that was moving from one house to another, and the son, Owen, was so upset he was leaving his room and packing up his favorite toys. So we wrote him a little card, handwritten note with a $5 Baskin Robbins gift card. And the note said, Owen, we know how hard it is to pack up your favorite toys and keep your room clean during this time. You're such an important part of this entire journey. We cannot wait to unpack your toys in your new home. So thank you for being you. Do you know that little boy kept his room so clean for the next 30 days? But it was a note card, a $5 gift card to a little boy, and he felt seen and heard. So it need not to be expensive. It just needs to be meaningful.
I love that. It doesn't have to be expensive. It's the
Mm-mm.
meaningful part that makes it 5 stars. So
Absolutely.
let's talk about it from the team member standpoint, right?
Sure.
We look at our clients, right? And we say, I want to provide great experience for them. And we look at it and we say, our clients are where we make our money from these transactions. And yet it's our team members and our employees that ultimately carry on the standard of service that we want to present. So what does it look like from a team member standpoint for that 5-star experience? And how, for somebody that's on this call who may even have a really established team, or the person who just made their first hire,
Right.
what can it look like for them to create that 5-star experience internally inside of their business, not just outside to the client facing side of it?
Sure. It really starts from the leader. Whether you're an individual agent right now and you're looking to grow, be very, very clear of what culture you want to have, what environment you want to have, what kind of service standards you want to have. Document it. Then start talking about how you're going to coach that to your team members that you're onboarding, right? It starts from the leaders through the environment and culture we create and the actions that we demonstrate. And in uneasy times, we as leaders have to roll up our sleeves and get in it with them. So they're looking to us. So when you're creating this culture standard, this service standard, the most important thing is hiring well, right? Hiring to the vision that you've already just created for yourself, your culture standard and your service standard. I had the pleasure to interview the head of operations, the Four Seasons. And did you know that when you enter every single Four Seasons room, guest room, there's a 121-point checklist that the housekeeping has to follow. So then I went backwards. So like, okay, how do you ensure that these people follow them? And she said, it depends on the hiring. Everything comes down to the hiring and the talent that we have. So I asked her, well, how do you hire? And she said, by the time they get to the final stages of the interview process, what she does is she walks them through the room and she'll plant a fly like on the mantle or in the corner of a table. And she said, the people that walk by and go, hey, there's a fly, they're out. If you go by and somebody says, they look at the fly and they walk by, they're out. The person that comes by and kind of sweeps the fly and puts in their pocket discreetly, that's a talent they want. So get very clear of what kind of talent you want on your team and then hire to that. And then revisit your MVVP, your mission, vision, values, beliefs, and perspectives. If you do not have one, take the time. You owe it to yourself and your business to create one. What are your mission? What is your mission? What's your vision? What is your values? What are the values you live by? What do you believe in? And what's your perspective? And you revisit your MVVP, and that becomes woven into the language of your team, right? And everything you do. And when you're speaking it, it becomes truth. one of my favorite books is Principles by Ray Dalio. If you haven't read it, read it. It's this thick. However, it is so worth reading. I've read it 4 times. And one of the things he said is providing radical transparency and candor. And when you have radical transparency and candor, it and weave it into your culture, then you will be able to have transparent conversations with your team members of expectations, right? So creating a culture of trust, that's number one. Trust is essential for effective collaboration. Encourage us to be honest and transparent with our team members. Hey, things are going to be great. And you know what? Things cannot be great sometimes. But we're in it together, and this is how we're going to solve it. And be vulnerable. Talk about our failures. Talk about our fears for the economy. Let's talk about it and let's solve it together. So you're creating an environment of culture of trust and collaboration. Give them autonomy. Trust your team members to do their jobs well, and give them autonomy to make decisions. And that will help them feel empowered and valued. You want to create a safe space. So a safe space for your team members to share their ideas, share their concerns, and encourage them to provide, their ideas. Sometimes the most quiet team member in the corner might have the best idea.
Frequently. They're listeners
Frequently.
usually.
Yeah,
These are the
actually,
listeners.
absolutely, yes. But they may not want to raise their hand. So how can you create a great space for them to feel safe in doing so? And then create a culture of feedback. Encourage team members to give and receive feedback regularly, positive and negative. And that helps build, again, trust and communication. And then encouraging collaboration. Encourage team members to collaborate with each other and to create a more positive and supportive environment. So when employees and team members feel valued and they feel that they're making a difference, they're going to be able to execute your culture and your standards, and that will be reflective on your clients, right? So value your team members. They're happy, they're proud to be where they are, and then it's reflective on the service they provide.
It's interesting when we look at things like that, and it's creating an environment of radical candor, right? It's creating an environment where feedback is welcomed, creating an environment where we can have hard times. One of the things we look at when people talk about what's a good working environment, the leaders tend to come back and go, well, I can't ever have anything go wrong. Like nothing can go wrong. We can't have bad days. That's not real. That happens in movies, maybe. That happens in dreamlands. Things go wrong in businesses. People make mistakes. They're only human. I think it comes down to as well on there. If we're open to the feedback, it's how do we handle it when something goes wrong? Do we own the mistakes of what we did? And do we listen when someone says, hey, that was not a great day for me, right? That appreciate the way things went down that way. I would have liked if I was heard more. That's a 5-star experience for somebody in an organization. It's being seen and being heard and valued at that perspective as well. And, our industry is not what we would call an easy one right now. We've been in a shifting market for about 18 months through most of the country, and interest rates continue to rise. Inventory is at record lows. We're going through, and it's less and less homes are going pending every week. So every week is a lift. And that's just what the real estate industry is today. That doesn't mean every day is a great golden win. So if we're having the days where we're doing more with less, right? We're working harder, we're working smarter, we're working to be more efficient, and yet it's still a big lift. How do we reward and acknowledge behavior to create a great experience for our teams and our team members, even when it's hard and we may not be knocking last year's numbers out of the park, right? Nationally, we're on what, 30% on an average?
Yes.
Nationally?
Yes.
Many teams are considering a break even this year a huge win. And, if they're going against last year's numbers and they're hitting it, it's like, that's a great win. Success looks different this year. How do we acknowledge and reward that to still create that good experience, even when things are hard?
That's a great question. Reward it every day. catch things when catch people when they're doing something great. They may not even know you're noticing, but catch it. Be observant of your team members. And so we do it every single day in our morning lineup is what are we grateful for? Who can we give kudos to? And what are some of our goals? And what's our grit? What is something we need help with? And then you build that rapport. So catch something good every single day and let the team know about it. And something that we do is basically when we hire, we want to get to know them. So for our clients, we have our getting to know you form, right? When we start a relationship with them, why not have a getting to know you form with each team member, right? So how do you like to celebrate? What feels good to when you are frustrated or unsure about something, how do you want us to show up for you? So asking them all this upfront, then I have these little profiles in my head for each team member. So I know when they're feeling frustration, I know how to show up for them, or I try to my very, very best. So recognition, well, you have to understand your team members. What do they respond to? So privately, that's how you support them. Publicly, you celebrate them, the wins, whether it's a clap, a note in Slack. Hey, everybody, guess what so-and-so did? How amazing. And everybody, wow, that builds up their confidence to do more and to not be afraid, right? So I think recognition is critical. It's a verbal thank you, more formal. It could be an end of month celebration where we celebrate all the wins. Find out what works best for your team. Find out what their personalities are and flex to that, because how you celebrate may not be how I would receive a celebration and vice versa, right? So I think daily, especially now in hard times, is critical in our daily lineups.
It's interesting when we look at that, we want to celebrate the wins, celebrate the successes, and everybody's different. We talk a lot about our KPA profiles and our personalities and behaviors and how we interact with people and knowing, does this person like the public praise? Does this person want something behind closed doors? Is just hey, I appreciated that today. Thanks. Good for some people, right? For some people, that's literally all they want. They don't want the
attention, right? Yes.
Others want the bouquet of flowers and the balloons and the hurrah, right? They want all of it. So it's important to know those things about our people and their KPA profiles and going through their motivational interview, life stories, hearing the ups and downs can be really impactful there. I think it's also important to note on there of, for some people, your time and pouring into them is the way they like to be rewarded. Right? We can take for granted, I think, sometimes as leaders, how valuable it is to folks when we pour into them. When I receive recognition or reward from that, it's pour into me. I don't need you to send me a balloon. Can I have your time?
Right.
How are you helping me achieve my goals? If you're helping me achieve my goals, that tells me I'm doing a great job and you care, right?
Yes. Yes.
Everybody's a little bit different there.
We really have to be observant of our people, especially now when people are maybe not showing up differently. Pause, at our one-on-ones. Okay, what did you achieve last week? What's their goal for this week? How can we make it happen? And when you're not seeing that there's a disconnect, put everything away, put it to the side. How are you? That's a great question. And then most likely, like, we're fine. I'm fine. Like, no, how are you? Oh my goodness. The information that comes out after that second, how are you, is really how you're going to be able to help them. We had a situation where this person wasn't showing up, and week after week after week, and trying to encourage this person, lift this person up, and it just wasn't working. And when it was the how are you, the third how are you, I found out that this person was in an abusive relationship. That's how this person wasn't showing up, for the team and for our clients. So seen, special, heard, and acknowledged. So sometimes that pause is the greatest gift.
I like that. That's powerful to ask and not take the first answer necessarily as what it is, right? Because what's everyone's first answer? How are you? Fine.
Jinx.
Fine. Fine.
Right.
Right. Sometimes the first answer is not the right one.
Yes.
Caroline, what have I not asked you about creating a 5-star experience in our teams and with our team members that I should have so far? What have we not?
That's, thank you for asking. We have Keller Williams Luxury Pro, and at Keller Williams Luxury Pro, it's our community where one of the benefits is we get to travel to different cities and we hear from various authors and international speakers who've been on stage with Richard Branson or the Dalai Lama, and et cetera, et cetera. So when we were just in Minneapolis, we had the pleasure and the honor to interview Three and Jackie Carpenter. They wrote this book called People First. And I tell you, this is a must read for anybody who is leading a team or thinking about leading a team. So this couple, they manage some of the most exclusive clubs around the country. They serve presidencies, they've entertained kings and queens and everybody in between. And they talked about developing love, right? Love on your people. What does love mean? Loyalty, ownership, value, and excellence. And this happens when leaders make it clear people are the most important asset, and helping them grow and evolve is the utmost priority. And they do it with how do you create love? Credibility, candor, cultivation, commitment, and care. Credibility is walking your talk through good and challenging times. You just talked about that. And give people opportunity for candor. Talked about candor as well. And give them a safe space. Cultivate and pay attention to your people. It starts from day one beyond their first few months. So that 30, 60, 90 is critical. We cannot skimp on that time with them. Show your commitment by giving them opportunities to learn and grow. Help them grow into their roles and beyond. And care about their success, celebrate their success, and also celebrate failures. You know what? We failed. Yay, we learned something new. And overall development, and that will lead to excellence. That's your E. And when you say, people often don't care how much we know, we want to show them how much we care. It's the same for our client. It's the same for our team members. And so I think that the cultivation of a culture of love, I thought is a great framework for teams.
Well, I was looking for a new book for our KW Talent members for October for our book review. And so I just wrote that one down, People First. And it was Three and Jackie Carpenter.
Yes, this gentleman's name is Three. He was number 3 in the birth order. His parents called him Three. And there's some great stories in here and great formulas. And you know what? We were so impressed with him in Minneapolis for our Luxury Pro Series. We invited them to the symposium. So the symposium happening alongside the summit in October. So they're going to be on stage talking, deep diving into this book.
Yeah, we're all going to be very busy in October. If those
Yes.
that are on here are not going to be in Phoenix with us next month, so we've got MAPS Fall Masterminds is going to be the 24th, 23rd, 24th, 25th. So it's going to start late on the 23rd. KW Talent's got our Built to Last workshop on the 22nd and the 23rd in Phoenix, and Symposium is the 22nd and 3rd as well, right?
21st and 23rd, yes.
22nd. Yeah, we're all going to be very busy, but Phoenix is going to be a hopping place at the Biltmore.
It will be.
Not attending, we hope that you do come see us, and if you are attending, stop by and say hi, and we'll definitely go there. Does anybody have any other? Oh, someone just asked, can you say what LOVE stands for?
Oh, absolutely. LOVE stands for loyalty, ownership, value, and excellence.
Perfect.
Something in the book that I read, and I had heard about this, and it just reminded me, is that getting to know your people. So Facebook asked this question, or Meta now, of their potential employees. They said, on your very best day of work, and when you go home and think, I have just had the best day of my life, what happened that day? Right? That's a great question to see. What is their perfect day?
Their perfect day.
Look like?
What does that
Does
look
it
like?
sound like? What did it feel like? Then you'll know what their perfect day.
Well,
should be.
it's interesting, when we were prepping for this interview and I was thinking about five-star experiences, and I laugh every time I use the phrase five-star experience, like internally, because there's this very basic, very not high end, not what you would consider a five-star experience pizza place in Jacksonville, Florida. That was my favorite pizza place there, called Five Star Pizza. And I loved the pizza, but not a whole lot of other people did. So I laugh every time this is in my head. And yet it's the first thing I think of. And I think five star. And I'm like, well, that is not what we would consider a five-star experience, right? Like it really isn't. And so it becomes comical of this is not the experience I want to have. One time they forgot to cut our pizza. That's not an ideal experience. True story. Not an ideal experience. And then you start looking at and you go, okay, well, where have I had five-star experiences? What stories have we heard about five-star experiences? And I always go back to Zappos. We were able to tour Zappos with MAPS coaching several years ago when we had family reunion in Las Vegas, and we toured their facilities. And Zappos is it's an online shoe company
Right.
essentially. It's nothing fancy. They don't have luxury or amazing facilities where they're at. They have an experience. They create a culture that is about the employee. They work hard. They have not the easiest jobs in the world, right? They're customer service. They're on the phone talking to people generally who have had a bad experience, fixing it all
Yes.
day, right? And yet you go into the Zappos facilities and it's snacks in the kitchen, right? It's places for them to rest. They are not clocked on exactly how much time they spend with each customer, so they can actually provide customer service until the customer is happy. They decorate their cubicles, right? They have fun at work. They have an
Yes.
environment that is structured for the candor, for the feedback, for the continual loop and the development. And I think one of the most fascinating things I've always liked about Zappos is after a certain amount of time in the beginning of employment, they'll pay you to leave. And if you take,
Mm-hmm.
you can never come back.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't remember if it's
Does
like
that,
30,
right?
60, or 90 days, but they say, here's a few $1,000s if you leave and you never come back, right? Because they want people that want to be there. And that's a five-star experience, right? It looks differently internally for what our employees or team members consider a good experience.
I love that example. Thank you for sharing. And going back to the pizza, five-star does not mean the price point. Five-star is the feeling you give someone, somebody walks away with. That five-star service is a feeling you offer. I
Yeah,
see
the
something
pizza
in
does
chat.
make me happy, but
Yeah, me too.
it doesn't make a lot of other people
Maybe
happy, but it makes
maybe
me
really
really
hungry right now. So, okay. So I see in chat, and I'm sorry, I'm not able to answer everyone or in chat. So LOVE stands for loyalty, ownership, value, and excellence. Loyalty, ownership, value, and excellence. The book I just talked about was People First by Three and Jackie Carpenter. And the book I referred to previously was Principles by Ray Dalio.
perfect. All right. Well, we are at 3:16 Eastern time, so we are a minute over. Caroline, I want to thank you for your time. Is there any last words of wisdom or information you'd like to give anybody before we wrap up today? Because I want to value your time and make sure you're able to move on to your next appointment.
That's a big question. I just appreciate being a member of KW Talent. I love our communities and the way we collaborate. I applaud all of you for being here today and being a part of KW Talent. And if I can leave you with anything is, what are the feelings that you're leaving people with every single day?
I love that. That's a good impact, right? What are we doing every day? What are we leaving people with every single day when we interact with them? It's perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you, Caroline. Thank you,
Thank you.
everyone.
It's my pleasure. Bye,
We'll
everybody.
send this recording out as well, especially since we weren't able to Facebook Live it for some reason today. We will see you all on our next expert interview series. If you need anything, you know how to reach us.